afternoon, students. How are you all? I hope that you all are safe and fine at home. So, welcome back. Subject History, lesson number 3, India's internal challenges. Before this, in previous period, we have learned in lesson number 1, that is sources of history. In second lesson, we have learned about before timing 1960s. And in this lesson, we are going to learn about the India's internal challenges. Now, what is meant by internal? Internal means inside. So, though we got independence, still there were too many disputes among inside. So, there were many challenges in internal. And so that here today we are going to see India's internal challenges. Which big challenges we were facing in that timing, that we are going to learn in this lesson number 3, India's internal challenges. And in this lesson we are going to learn about the unrest in Punjab, Operation Blue Star, then issues covering Northeast India. In this we are going to learn about Mizoram, Assam, Nagaland, different regions. We are going to learn how or what challenges were facing that time in India. So, let's start our lesson, Internal Challenges of India. In this chapter, we are going to learn about some internal challenges that India faces, and we shall see some internal challenges like separatist movement, issues of Northeast India, nationalism, communalism and regionalism. So, before starting, today we are going to see in this part 1 till here. In second part, we are going to learn about regionalism, nationalism and communalism. But for today's period, these 3 points we are going to discuss briefly. That first point we are going to discuss about the unrest in Punjab. What was the situation at that time in Punjab? Akali Dal was major political party in Punjab, and in 1973 the Akali Dal passed that Manipur site resolution. See, in 1973 in Punjab, that time that Akali Dal was major political party in Punjab, and this Akali Dal passed one resolution. Its name was Anandpur Sahib resolution, and they kept some following demands towards the government. Now, which demands they kept towards the government? See, Chandigarh should be made a part of Punjab. They kept first demand that Chandigarh that should be a part of Punjab. Second, the Punjabis became parts in the other states should be included in the state of Punjab. A recruitment of the people from Punjab in the Indian Army should be increased. Now, second demand they keep that Punjabi language should be spoken in whole Punjab. Means they kept demand towards government that Punjabi language should be compulsory in Punjab. Then third demand they kept towards the government that the recruitment of the people from Punjab in the Indian Army should be increased. The recruitment means places. Okay. So vacancies we can see. So recruitment from Punjab only they have to increase for the soldiers, and more autonomy should be given to the state of Punjab. And according to them, fourth demand was that more autonomy they have to give or they have to provide to the Punjab. Akali Dal came in power in Punjab in 1977. While taking charge, they asked for a larger share of river waters for Punjab. And in this way, this Akali Dal came in the power in the Punjab in 1977. As soon as they came in the power, what they did? They asked for a larger share of river waters for Punjab. They asked immediately as soon as they came in the powers, they asked large share of river water for Punjab's holy city status for Amritsar. Holy city, they give a status as Amritsar, etc. along with their old demands. This every old demands they kept towards government. Including this, there were some old demands also they kept in front of government. In 1980, the movement for independent Khalistan took root in Punjab, and during this period, the leader of the Akali Dal was son Harcharan Singh Logowal. He used to direct his activists from the Golden Temple to stage protest. Now see, we have seen this first unrest in Punjab about the Akali Dal kept more demands in front of government, and due to this situation, what was the condition in Punjab that we have seen in first para. Now second para we are going to see about the independence of Khalistan. Which type of movement was going on, and this independent Khalistan took root in Punjab. And during this period, the leader of Akali Dal was son Harcharan Singh Logowal, and he used to direct the activists from the Golden Temple. He used to direct the activists from Golden Temple to stage protest. On the other side of the Golden Temple, armed followers started gathering around the staunch Khalistan supported to Sant Jamal Singh Bindrawale. During that period, now one side we can see that Sant Harcharan Singh Logowal, and other side those who were local peoples, they were supporting to the Bindrawale. And because of this, the two leaders were there at the same time in that region, and because of that we can see the worsened situations of that region. And during that period, terrorist activists had begun, and Bindrawale was arrested in 1981. And because of this situation, terrorist situations started in that area, and so that in 1981 they arrested to that Bindrawale. Now, Bindrawale was arrested in 1981 accused of the murder of newspaper editor Lala Jagnarayan. Now see, why this Bindrawale was arrested? Because he did murder of that editor, a newspaper editor whose name was Lala Jagnarayan. And after this incident, the situation worsened. And as soon as he murdered that news editor, the situation became too worsened. And because of that, due to these developments, President rules was imposed in Punjab. And because of this situation, the situation was very critical, and the situation was worsened. And because of this, that government took charge, and President's rule was imposed in Punjab. Bindrawale went to stay at religious place called Akal Takht. Now in this situation that Bindrawale went to stay the religious place which name was Akal Takht. And Bindrawale's follower captured the temple, Golden Temple, and built their barricade of sandbags over there. And as soon as they reached towards the Golden Temple, their followers kept their sand barricades in front of that Golden Temple, and it was looking like a fort. This greatly disturbed the peace in Punjab, and it was a major challenge to Indian democracy. Now, as soon as they kept that sand barricade of sand bags in front of that temple, it was looking like a fort, and because of this, that critical situations created in between Punjab, and everywhere we can see the disputes or quarrels in between Punjab's people, and because of that we can see the unrest in Punjab at that same time. Now we have seen in this first topic Now we are going to see the second topic, that is Operation Blue Star. Now what was Operation Blue Star? Now Operation Blue Star, it was a part of one first incident only, that is unrest in Punjab. Because till the time we are seeing that Bhindranwale took shelter in that religious place, that was Golden Temple, and Bhindranwale was staying there with his followers. The main task of getting the terrorists out of the Golden Temple was entrusted to Major General Kuldip Singh Bragg. Now, it was required that because Bhindranwale and his followers, Bhindranwale was staying in that religious Golden Temple. At the same time, his followers made their sand barricade in front of that fort. And because of this situation, it was required that anyone should take charge. And in this situation, that was a big task to getting the terrorists out from that Golden Temple. And this whole work was given, or this whole charge was given to the Major General Kuldip Singh Bragg. And on the morning of 3rd June 1984, the mission operation started. And though that government giving the charge of arresting to that Bhindranwale or to rescue that Golden Temple, this whole responsibility they given to that Kuldip Singh Bragg in the morning 3rd June 1984. The mission Operation Blue Star started, and the operation ended on 6th June, and this operation get ended on 6th June. In this military operation, the Indian Army functioned with great restraint, and the operation ended with the death of Bhindranwale and other terrorists. In 1986, an operation had to be conducted against terrorists in the Golden Temple once more, and it was called as Operation Black Thunder. Now, as soon as that Bhindranwale got died, this operation got ended. And in that operation, we can see that Bhindranwale and more terrorists got died. Once again, if you will see, in 1986, again that operation had to be conducted against that terrorist, and it was same conducted in the Golden Temple, and it was called as Operation Black Thunder, because previously it was given name like Operation Blue Star, and again one time the terrorist attack on the temple, and so that is called again that name as Operation Black Thunder. After this action was taken, the process of establishment of peace in Punjab picked up momentum. And after this whole situation was worsened, situation was critical, and so that it was required at that time that there should be peace in Punjab. And so that they started fastly or hurriedly to establish peace whole among that Punjab. Now, issues concerning Northeast India. Now, we have seen till the time our first point and second point. Today, we are going to see about the issues covering Northeast India. Northeast India consists of 8 states of Assam, Arunachal Pradesh, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, Sikkim, and Tripura. Now, as we know that Northeast part, it is considered 8 regions. 8 states, which are they? Assam, Arunachal Pradesh, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, Sikkim, and Tripura. International borders of India touch each of the states to varying extent. Now, our international border of India is touching each and every state while passing through that road. And the states are different with the respect to ethnicity, language, and cultural diversity. The first Prime Minister of independent India took the lead in bringing the tribes living in these areas into mainstream of the country. Now, if we will see that we will come to know here that 8 different states are there in this Northeast India. So, if we will see that there is diversity in whole region or whole states, might be the diversity in between the region, diversity in between the people's dialect or their language. Maybe there is diversity in between people's whatever they are celebrating festivals, or maybe clothes, everything, the lifestyle of the peoples, everything, whatever we will observe in India, we can see there is a diversity in our India. So according to state, we can see this diversity in India, and because of that, mostly all the peoples or government gave importance to the tribes. They wanted to do development in the tribes, and for that purpose, we can see according to that they started to do the development in the tribes. In 1954, he formed the Northeast Frontier Agency, comprising of territories on the Sino-Indian border and the tribal areas towards the north of Assam. Nehru took the position bringing about the development of tribes in this part while preserving their culture. Special provisions have been made with respect to these areas in 6th Schedule of Indian Constitution. In 1965, the responsibility of administrating this area was given to Ministry of External Affairs, and the Council Act advised that central government regarding aspects of common interest to economics and social spheres, interstate transport, electricity, flood control, etc. Now, mostly everyone was trying to focus on the development of the tribes, because if you will see, this 8 whole Northeast Indian whole states were mostly the peoples were belong to tribes, and because of that, every political leaders or every government, they were thinking that they should focus on that tribes, and in this way they started to give focus. Mostly we can see here in north of Assam, Nehru took the position bringing about the development of 100 of tribes. He took that charge that he will take and he will do the development in that whole tribes, and because of that they made one Council Act of 1971. According to that Council Act, what they decide? See, they given importance to the common interest in economic and social spheres and interstate transport. They given more attention on that interstate transport, electricity, food control, food arrangement and flood control, etc. Means they started to focus on the development of the common people, not only people but also economically, flood situation controlling, transport, trade, all the things they started to focus on these things. Now second, we are going to see about firstly one by one state we are going to see. The first one is Mizoram. The tribes in Northeast India have an ancient history, and when India became independent, the government gave administrative autonomy to the district of Mizo majority areas of Lushan Hills. Now, see this Mizoram. In Mizoram, mostly we can see more tribes are there in that Mizoram. And when in ancient history, there is a big history of this Mizoram. If you will see, you will come to know, before once India got independent, the government gave administrative autonomy to that Mizoram. As soon as they get autonomy, they demand that district of Mizo majority areas of the Lushan Hills. That Lushan Hills, that area they declared as a administrative autonomy. The commission was appointed in 1954, and expectation of peoples from that areas it started giving. As soon as government declared administrative autonomy in that area, that the local people, that Mizo people's demands started giving. And because of that, we can see Mizo leaders started demanding. Which type of demands they give? See, autonomous Mizo province. In 1959, the territory of Mizoram experienced severe drought, and during this famine, Mizo leader Lodaka served the common people a lot. Now, actually, according to them, they were thinking that autonomous mesoprominence demanding and mesoprominence means they demand that mesoprominence should be separately or autonomously, and because of these demands they kept in front of government. But in that situation, we can see their drought situation in that time. And due to this drought situation, whole peoples they were not getting sufficient food to eat. And in this situation, there was one leader, his name was Ladakar. He served that common people as a lot. And in 1961, Ladakar established an organization called Mizo National Front. And according to that, in 1961, you can see here that Ladakar established one organization whose name was Mizo National Front. And he asked for a greater Mizoram. And he asked for a big Mizoram, greater Mizoram. And nation carved out Tripura, Manipura and Mizo majority areas from the Lush Islands. Now Tripura, Manipur and Mizo, that whole majority areas from that Lush Islands. In March 1960, Mizo National Front announced the emergence of independent Mizoram. And in this way, lastly, they declared independence for whole Mizoram. Prime Minister Indira Gandhi handled situation firmly and suppressed the rebellion. Now, those who were rebellion, what do you mean by rebellion? Those who are going against of the independence, or those who are going against of some, we can call them as activists, and those who are against of the country, that we can call as a rebellion. So Indira Gandhi here handled nicely the situation, and she given punishment to the rebellions. And when the situation calmed down in 1972, Mizo majority was given the status of union territory. When the whole situation became calm, that time that they got one status of union territory. In 1985, Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi had agreement with the Mizo National Front, and Mizoram was given the status of full-fledged state. And in this way, we can see that Rajiv Gandhi, our Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi, lastly, he given that Mizoram that it is a full-fledged state. And Ladakar became the Chief Minister of State. And Ladakar, who has supported to Mizo, who has made one organization called Mizo people, he became a Prime Minister of that Mizoram. Second state, that is Nagaland. The Naga tribe is in Northeast India, is known as the martial tribe. Now, we have seen previously that Mizoram, that tribe was called as a Mizo people. Here, we have seen that Nagaland people, those who belongs to tribe, they were called as a martial tribes. And the Naga tribes had settled in Eastern Himalaya. Mostly they settled in Eastern Himalaya, Naga Hills, and borders of Assam and Manipur, Myanmar. In 1946, some educated Naga youth established one organization. They all youth from that Naga land, they came together and they made their own youth as the organization, and they given the name as Naga National Council. It is called as an NNC. Thereafter, they demand for that independence of Nagaland, and because of that, you can see that Agami Zapu Fizo, they were led by Agami Zapu Fizo. And Naga National Council announced establishment of independent federation of Nagaland. And Nagas and soldiers of Assam rifles and military action was taken to suppress and skirmishes. Now, that skirmishes means fightings happening between the Assam rifles, their soldiers, and in between the local Nagas. Several rounds of discussions took place between central government and Naga National Council, and many times they took one conference between discussions between central government and National Council, Naga National Council. And it is that government decide that they will give the separate or they will give majority territory status of union territory. And because of that, you can see that Nagaland was made a full-fledged. And in this way, on 1st December 1963, by putting together that Naga majority territory and part of Assam. Third state is Assam. In 1983, there was an intense agitation staged by all Assam Students Union and Assam Government Sangram Parishad over the question of dominance in Assam and Bengali migrants. Now in Assam, Bengali migrants and Assami peoples, among them there was a problems. And in 1985, Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi, Central Home Minister Shankarrao Chauhan and Assamese leader Prafulla Kumar Mohanty signed an accord, and according to that it was decided to send that Bangladeshi people back to the Bangladesh, and citizens who had infiltrated in Assam back to their original places. And in this 1986, those who were migrant Bangladeshi, they sent them back in their Bangladesh, and according to that, in 1986, elections were held in Assam assemblies, and Prabhu Kumar Mohanty of Assam Jana Parishad became a new chief minister in that time. And due to this process, it became possible to establish peace in Assam. Now, first state we are going to take information, that is Arunachal Pradesh. In 1954, NAFTA was created, NIFA was created, and 1972 it was began as called Arunachal Pradesh. And on 20th February 1987, they declared this Arunachal Pradesh, they got the status of constituent states. And during the period from 1960 to 2000, Northeast India has progressed towards a more mature democracy, and this area is on the path of progress. And through industrialization, spread of education, etc. Now, today we have seen about the arrest in Punjab, Operation Blue Star, issues covering Northeast India from that Mizoram, Nagaland, Arunachal Pradesh and Assam. So, today we have learned about the Northeast India and these three topics. In next chapter, we are going to learn about nationalism, communalism, regionalism and exile movement. So, I hope you understand all this part. Read once, try to understand and solve the question answers whichever is given to solve you in the homework. Stay safe, stay home, take proper precautions, drink hot water and take care of yourself. Thank you.